This is The Entrepreneur. My name is Paul K. Buuore. Our first guest tonight has delved into a business that will change some traditions that we are accustomed to. Join me as we learn more. Welcome to the show. Entrepreneurship is an interesting venture. Ida Gashiri of NATA Supplies takes us through her entrepreneurial journey.
Thanks for having me. My name is Ida Kamanyire Gashihi, and I am co-founder and marketing director of NATA Supplies Limited. And what NATA Supplies basically does is the selling of garment steamers, which is a new innovative product in Kenya. And what we do is we sell in Kenya and East Africa. I believe entrepreneurship is inborn, and for me it started at an early stage, an early age. When I was in high school, I remember I used to make food for some of my classmates and they would buy that food. I was the only one who knew how to pleat skirts for my schoolmates since our uniform had pleated skirts. So I'd make lots of money being the only person in the school who knew how to do it.
Ida, you mean you are in school and yet you're cooking and selling food? How was that possible?
I was in a day school in Loreto Convent in Songari. So I had an opportunity to go home like every day. So over the weekend especially is when I'd make these meals during my free time. And on Monday morning, I'd have lots of containers and bags and I'd sell this food to them and they loved it.
Which food in particular?
Injera, which is my traditional food from my mother's side, which is Ethiopia.
And the stitching of the skirts, where did you get that experience from?
That I was taught by my mother also because she did fashion design at one point in her life. And since we had pleated skirts, I used to always be puzzled on how I would keep it neat. But eventually she told me she knows how to do this and she taught me. In one day I learned and that was it. So after school I joined Nielsen, which is a market research company. And there I did market research, lots of field work. And after field work, I now moved into editing. So I used to do editing and I found it so boring. I never found it interesting because, you're always under the order of people. And I always wanted that independence to do what I loved. So with my husband, we got into a business of construction, selling construction equipment like brick making machines, and also we were selling incubators, agricultural machines, and that we did for about a year. And unfortunately, we fell into the hands of evil fraudsters.
How did you get to be frauded in the business that you were doing?
Well, the fraudsters came with a fake tender. And through this tender, we just, they would ask for money, and that's how we lost. Yes, it brought the business down.
All right.
And so after that, we thought about something innovative that we could do as a team. So with a little bit of research, we came up with the garment steamers business, and that's how we began last year in December.
Having lost money in your previous business and now you're going into another business, where did you get that capital from?
We had a few savings that we had aside. So actually this business started with only 20,000 shillings. And that's how we did it. With that small amount of money, we were able to be here where we are today.
You and your husband were doing the construction business and now got into the garment steamers. How was that transition? These are two very different businesses.
Yes, it was very easy to jump and flow very well because first of all, it's our own thing, So we were able to set the standards and just go with the flow. It wasn't actually hard to switch from that to this. It was quite easy and enjoyable. It was something we loved doing as a team. So we actually really enjoyed it.
Where do you get to source your products from?
We source them from Asia, actually, and we get them into the country, but they are branded under NATA Supplies.
This being a new product in the market, how do you let people know about it?
Our biggest way of marketing is actually through social media, especially Facebook. We get most of our customers from there. Also, we use other social media platforms. We use also like Pigami, Jumia, And also word of mouth, a lot of word of mouth also does work for us.
You faced some challenges in the business that you are doing and you closed. What are some of the challenges you're facing in this one that you're doing?
We do face a few challenges. One of them would be sometimes our goods don't arrive on time. Sometimes some goods arrive and probably they are not working, so we go at a loss because we either have to have them replaced, and that now takes more time because they have to be reshipped into the country. And sometimes fluctuation of prices with our suppliers, fluctuation of prices with our suppliers. Sometimes they change their prices often, and sometimes that inconveniences us.
Where do you get to retail your products and for how much?
We've been able to sell in Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda as of late. And we have actually 3 models. There's one that goes for 3,000 shillings, one for 4,000 shillings, and one for 7,500 shillings.
Ida talked of these garment steamers being very new in the Kenyan market. We'd like to know how the reception was and their comparison to the traditional iron box.
Many people have actually received it well because of an iron box. The steamer, for example, one doesn't necessarily have to use it on a surface. One can easily use it fast as your garment is hanged on a hanger, as compared to an iron box, which you have to look for a surface and use it. Another advantage of the garment steamer over the iron box is a garment steamer does not damage any garment, unlike an iron box that actually burns or wears out a garment really fast. Also, an iron box is not easy like to carry when you're traveling, you know, but a garment steamer is easily portable. You can put it into your handbag, your suitcase, and travel with it to wherever you're going. Another reason why it has also been receptive is many cake shops use it to steam their cakes. So the fondant on the cakes is steamed so that it becomes glossy. So that's another sector where it has been received really well, because many of these bakers don't know where to get something that would make their fondant glossy. So it has also been received well by the bakers.
Ida Gashiri, what are the future plans of NATA Supplies?
Our future plans is we are hoping to be, probably in the next 5 to 10 years, to be among the best brands, internationally recognized brands. We actually want to be big, and not only in Kenya but globally.
Give advice to people watching you, especially young people, and encourage them, on the need of getting into entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship is the best thing to get yourself into, because you're independent in what you're doing, and you should always do what you love. You should start small but think big, and do what you love, do it passionately, be determined, work hard. It's the best thing you could ever do.
What would you say gives you the motivation and keeps you going in the business that you're doing?
What keeps me going is the fact that what we're doing is actually out there to help people, People are benefiting from what we're doing. It's not only about making money, it's also about helping others and helping them and making them feel like they're being recognized and, being accepted into this whole thing. Also, you see, we're able to create jobs, you see, by employing people in our company. So that's what keeps us motivated.
Ida mentioned to us that she loved cooking while she was still in school. We want to know, does she still continue loving to cook? And how does she spend her free time?
I love cooking. I love cooking for my family. I love cooking for people. If I had the chance, I'd even cook for parties. I spend my free time mostly with my baby. So we're usually in the house together, up and down. I cook, I take care of her. It's pretty much time between the two of us.
Thank you very much, Ida.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
We're taking a short commercial break, but when we return, we have another guest for you. So please, don't go away. Welcome back to the show, and we are on part 2 of The Entrepreneur. We're here at IB's Incubation Center at Strathmore University to meet Tony Kuchio, one person who successfully pitched an idea and won. Please join me. Tony, it's good to have you on the show tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Give us your background. At the same time, let us know what motivated you to get into entrepreneurship.
My name is Tony Cuccio. I'm one of the co-founders of Buuore, which we're here to talk about today. My background is in mathematics, which is what I did in school at Catholic University. I graduated 3 years ago. After finishing graduation, I got a job at a very good company, and I was doing risk management based on my profession. I was there for about 9 months. And it was at that point in time when I realized that there was an opportunity to get into the entrepreneurship space. I didn't like the kind of work I was doing. It was good work, it was well paying. The key issue with that was that I just couldn't see myself doing the same kind of work in the next 5 to 10 years primarily. And it was a very stressful job, and it was something that I had studied in school, yes, but not something I particularly enjoyed doing. So when it got to that point, when Strathmore University was doing a call out, and they were saying, we have an incubation center, if you have a business idea, come and pitch this idea to us. I said to myself, maybe this is the opportunity that you've been waiting for, you've been looking for. So I went ahead and I pitched Buuore, and they loved it, and that's how we started.
Detail to us what Buuore is all about.
So to summarize it in short, Buuore is a student discount company. We help students save money by giving them discounts at places that we've partnered with. So as a student, if you have a Buuore card and you go to any merchant we've partnered with, you're able to buy things at a discount and hence save a bit of money. So we try to make it easier for them by giving them discounts.
Before joining the incubation center at Strathmore, did you have any money that you set aside, as starting capital for your business?
Initially, yes, we did. When we were starting off, my co-founder and I had a bit of money that we put together and we started. But part of the structure of the incubation at Strathmore, and the good thing about it is once you come in, they give you access to funding. So with the little that we had, we started off, then we joined the incubation and we got more funding from Strathmore sources.
And how many merchants have you gotten to partner with?
We've worked with 100+ merchants who at various stages given discounts.
This new concept that you've introduced to students, how has been their response?
It's interesting because, for example, the reason a merchant would partner with us is because, one, they understand that this student primarily does not have a good income, and they are the ones that need a discount. So because this individual is a student, the merchant is willing to partner with us to offer an extension for them to purchase. But secondly, we've also seen cases where merchants have increased sales as a result of our partnership. So what this means is that when they partner with us, we're able to consistently push student traffic to them, where they can be able to make more sales. And the third part is we're building an intelligent product in the sense that it collects data that is valuable for the merchant.
In how many universities have you gotten to spread your wings, and how many students do you have in your database?
So we've signed up 7,000 students so far, and that's spread across 11 different universities. And the process is very simple. If a student wants to get the product, you go to our website, which is buuore.co.ke. From there, you can be able to register. Once you register, we get in touch with you and we get the card delivered to you in your different institution.
What's your lowest discount and what's your highest discount that you give to students?
So the lowest discount we have is 5% from Textbook Center, and the highest discount we have is 60% from Daniel Wellington, which is Watch.
You're giving discounts to students, then how do you get to make money yourselves?
Part of the process of how we make money is when a student joins the platform, they pay a yearly subscription fee. So they pay 500 shillings and they're able to use the card for a year, after which they renew it with 500 shillings again.
Coming to challenges, what are some of the challenges you faced while doing this business?
It's been tough. Initially, none of us had an idea of how to run a business completely. So it was about learning on the job. It was about getting in there, trying to figure out how you do this, trying to figure out the legal perspective, trying to figure out business development. But we got good mentorship that really guided us through the process, and that was really beneficial to us in those early stages. The second challenge was raising capital. once we got a bit of money from Strathmore, they give you a bit of money to get started through their sources. And once we burnt through that, then we needed to seriously raise money for the business. And I think it's at that point that you truly realize what it takes to really present your business to someone who can give you money. The other challenge has been getting talent. Being a small company is, yes, you can attract really good talent. You can attract some of the best people to come and work for you. But then what happens is 6 months later, a year later, big organizations come calling. And it's very difficult to maintain these people if multinationals come picking them off. So what that means is you, as a small business, you find that you have a churn rate of people coming to work for you.
Your presence is felt in many, many universities across the country. How are you able to spread that word out and also convince the students to get into Buuore?
We've been able to meet a need that the students want, which is really to save a bit of money. So that alone is what convinces them to join the platform. What we do in terms of our distribution or reaching other markets is we get brand ambassadors in different schools. In a school, we have at least 2 brand ambassadors, and these brand ambassadors are responsible for getting the Buuore word out there, telling their friends about it, telling their classmates about it, sharing the value proposition. Over and above that, we also work with the school organization in 2 aspects. We work with the student community, which is through the student leadership, the student council, and we're able to partner with them where we give them good incentives, whether it's sponsoring the events, whether it's them giving us a presence in the school, and we find that we have a great rapport through them to be able to push the product, but also the school administration.
Buuore is definitely growing. What are your future plans, Tony?
We are now moving into a space where we've really understood the student market, and we've really understood that discount is only one part of it. So to put it out, we are branching out the products a bit more, and we're adding more features into it. And the kind of product we're building is now going to be a financial product, and it's going to touch on the payment space, it's going to touch on the savings space, it's going to touch on the loan space, and primarily just for the student market. So we're still at a process where we finalize a partnership with a bank, and we're now putting it together before we roll out this new product in about 3 or so weeks.
People watching you and they're probably tired of employment and tired of what they do, and they want to jump into entrepreneurship. What advice would you give them?
It's a tough life. It's a lot of sleepless nights, and the days you look at it and wonder, why am I doing this? There's no better time to start a business in Kenya than today. If it's money you're looking for, investors are there to put money into your business right from the very beginning to the growth stage. If it's support you're looking for, there's enough incubation hubs at the iHub here in Strathmore and across Nairobi that are willing to take up ideas and nurture them into business. There are mentors out there that are willing to help you nurture the process, start the process. Banks are looking at the startup space. How can we partner with the startups? How can we work together? Corporate organizations are also looking at the innovation and startup space. So it's a really good time to be starting a business in Kenya today. And despite the challenges that you will encounter, despite the difficult times, it is something that I will encourage anyone to get onto.
Tony, one day you woke up and you were tired of what you were doing. An idea dropped in your head and went and pitched it at Strathmore University. Would you say you've attained what you wanted, and are you fulfilled by it?
Yes. So it's a yes and no question. Yes, in the sense that I am able to make a difference, and that's the biggest factor. The product that we put to the market is determined by our actions and our efforts in terms of what we push forward. And that is very satisfying. On the downside is, as I mentioned earlier, it's a process. It's a very difficult process you have to go through. I think people will realize that if you've been in corporate employment before, there are set structures, there are set ways of doing things, and it's very difficult for a startup to replicate these things. They only come with time. So those are some of the challenges that we've encountered as such. But generally, I think it's very satisfying. I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'm happy with the progress we have so far. And there's still so much more that we can do.
And coming to your free time, how do you get to spend it?
I love reading books, and particularly now business books. And that's been part of the process that's really helped us to really get the startup to this level. We've learned a lot from reading books of people who've gone through the entire process, who've done this. Over and above that, love going to places that we've partnered with that are outdoors. things like Sagana, bungee jumping, rock climbing, anything that is nature filled, and hanging out with my friends generally.
I hope you got inspired by our two guests tonight. Thank you for all of you been getting in touch with us through Twitter and on our Facebook page. We really appreciate your comments and your feedback. Until next week, same time, Thursday, 8:30 p.m., I've been your presenter, Paul K. Buuore, and from the team and I, is good night and God bless you. See you then, guys.